Hello all, Rick here. I frequently look into sci-fi phenomena in Star Trek and explore their feasibility to exist in real life, bumbling through research to find tangible comparisons, and at this time I'm tackling something that is much closer to eldritch cosmic events than anything real. Chaotic space does not play by the rules, it's kind of its whole deal. Seldom encountered, it's a documented phenomenon in Star Trek that is essentially a zone where space begins to warp, gravitational effects go haywire, and energy levels spike. The myriad of navigational issues that it causes, combined with the stress on a starship of being in proximity to them, means that chaotic space encounters are often fatal, even to the Borg. They are also points of incredible energy when they appear, and if this could somehow be harnessed, then it would prove to be a massive boost for whatever savvy species managed this. The 2 light-year spanning incident that the USS Voyager encountered in 2375 emitted energy equivalent to a dozen stars. The source of this energy is unclear, however, but might simply be the measurable output of all the gravitational effects within, the amount of harnessable potential power, like tapping the waves of an ocean. Now, entry into such a point of chaotic space is also unpredictable, as the region, in theory, can form in space-time with little warning, perhaps even spontaneously, around existing matter like a ship or, God forbid, a planet. But the area itself may also be maintained just outside of regular spacetime, but with many breaches that intersect at the 18th dimensional gradient. These points of ingress are called trimetric fractures and act as openings into the full turmoil of chaotic space. The dimensional gradient thing is just a term used to measure how far away chaotic space is from our regular spacetime norm. While gradients are obviously used in mathematics, this term was made up for Trek. So, once embroiled in chaotic space, there is relatively little hope of escaping thanks to the effects inside, which I'll look at next. Spatial sinkholes are basically gravity wells that form from the roil and turmoil of chaotic space. Not exactly to the extent of a singularity, they nonetheless cause things to drift towards their centre with increasing speed as the gravitational stress mounts. If such a sinkhole is not steered away from, then a vessel may be pulled into the centre of the warp and become crushed by the forces. Graviton particles are subatomic particles that are responsible for carrying gravitational waves across space. In reality, their existence is theoretical, however we have established that gravitational waves exist, which are part and parcel of the same thing, so that's something. The problem with finding gravitons is that they're so weakly interactive with anything that you would need impossibly large sensors just to even stand a chance to find them, like moon-sized sensors. So it's more likely to look for their effects, like the aforementioned gravitational waves. Of course, in Star Trek, graviton sensors are just part of your standard Starfleet package, and not only that, Starfleet has long established how to use them for their own benefit. Either way, gravitational waves go to town in chaotic space, with the ripples and effects acting like a stormy sea, knocking a ship off course, spinning it, possibly even crushing it, or making it fly around in circles despite space still reading as a straight line. Subspace flux is the term given to a bending in space-time that results in subspace spilling out into regular space-time. It is common to detect such flux around subspace apertures and other phenomena, and is usually indicative of a larger event. Its presence in high quantities in chaotic space reveals that the reason for all these gravitational and energetic bursts, I'm sure you're as shocked as I am to learn, it's subspace shenanigans again. Well, shenanigans implies intent, which I guess is not the case here. Now, it would not be a Star Trek story if they did not encounter some strange interstellar phenomena that, while completely inhospitable to life as we know it, proved to be alive or home to some aliens or something. Seriously, I need to compile a list, it happens a lot. Anyway, chaotic space was also home to an indigenous species that were not perceptible to most senses. We never see what they look like, thanks to the, imperceptibility, but they fortunately proved to be non-hostile and aware of the dangers their natural environment poses to others. Voyager was likely not the first vessel to become trapped in their realm, but it was one of the first they managed to help escape. They did this by imparting directions to Commander Chakotay, using an isolinear frequency to trigger hallucinations in him, during which they explained how to modify Voyager's warp, deflector and sensor systems to navigate effectively to an escape. Anything else about them is a complete unknown, and it's unlikely that we will ever really get any more answers due to the difficulty in establishing communication and the hazards of trying to reach out again. For now, it's just beneficial that they appear to recognise other lifeforms in distress and moved to assist, even if they were hella creepy about it. A benefit from this encounter, however, is that Voyager, at least in this instance, retained the necessary know-how to escape from chaotic space, and has since returned to Starfleet to share that intel. So perhaps if Starfleet located a pocket of chaotic space in the future, they might deploy some sort of wave generator in there that would be powered off of the currents of gravity in there, providing it was not crushed. Would make a good green energy analogy storyline and another alternate sci-fi power source. We don't know if the suggested modifications would aid with other encounters, but just remember to try a paralateral ventrilic trajectory. The hell is a ventrilic? I'm all for technobabble, and in this case it serves to show that Chakotay had no understanding of what he was doing. He was just following the chaotic entity's instructions, but that suggests that the main computer knew what ventrilic meant, and that's just I guess it's a way to predict the randomness of chaotic space. It's made up. Well, that about covers the lore on chaotic space. It's not quite Warhammer Warp Immaterium levels of Realms of Chaos, but it's mostly just as inhospitable to the unprepared. It joins the ranks of the many space storm type phenomena that Starfleet sailors have to tackle, and amongst these, at least, it stands out. Thanks for watching this breakdown on chaotic space, and until the next lore video, I've been Rick, and goodbye.